Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Greg. I'm going to go over the cryptocurrency market, but there's going to be a little bit of a focus on the Nasdaq composite because, in my opinion, I think the Nasdaq's a little bit more closely correlated to Bitcoin in the cryptocurrency market. Take a look at the Nasdaq there. The Nasdaq peaked in November 21, and it's been in a massive crash ever since. So more than likely, a little bit of cup of Joe. Got some this morning, guys, Just wish Bitcoin would drink some. Get his ass out of there, right? We gotta wait for the NASDAQ to finish up. And I'm gonna go over some stuff with you on the NASDAQ and tell you what I'm looking at with this asset or asset class, if you will, on the monthly chart with the NASDAQ. Just to break this down, a little bit of common sense. Take a look at this on the chart. Do I think there's more downside with the NASDAQ? I personally do. I do. And I'll explain that in a second. So more than likely, that means it's going to be a little bit more downside with Bitcoin. As I've explained in previous videos, I think Bitcoin has more downside. I think the worst of this situation that we have going on, guys, is just going to be a matter of patience. Okay. One of the most undervalued traits of a trader is patience. Okay. And in the cryptocurrency market, you have a lot of folks that aren't patient. They got to constantly trade. Believe me, we're in a trader's market right now, guys. We are not an investor's market, not even close. You're in a trader's market, in and out. You get in and you get out. Or you could be like the other guy that got lucky and he bought $320 of bonk coin, and now he's got 700K. Not too bad, not too bad. But I wouldn't exactly call that skill. Maybe it is. Maybe it is skill. Maybe he had some foresight. He did some charts on bonk, right? Before it came out. Oh, yeah, I see bonk going here. Possibly. I doubt it, though. I'm just being a little bit facetious, guys. So let's go over the NASDAQ here. The chart since 1974, since NASDAQ's been around. And let's see if NASDAQ is going to do a 2008 style crash, right? Like we're all being told. It's going down. This is the end of the world, and we're all screwed. Go buy some gold bars and gold coins, get your water, and buy that food. Like the food they like to sell, hey, this food will last 35 years, man. Get yourself a pack for $125. Okay? You guys realize, too, that most of the people that buy those packs, they never get around to eating them. They're waiting for the Mad Max scenario, and guess what? It never arrives. And then what? They got to save up money for a freaking headstone, don't they? Because their family buries them. So, let's see here. The NASDAQ composite. NASDAQ composite went up into massive wave one from 1974 all the way up to the year 2000. So it was expected to have a massive crash right there. That was to be expected. Boom. Massive crash. Okay. And then it came down. And this right here is not an impulse wave. Okay. It's not, guys. It's a three-way move. A, B, C, and then it had another crash. So this whole thing right here is a correction. Okay. It's a massive, massive correction from 2000 all the way to 2009, 2008 in that time area. Okay. And with this data, the only thing you can do is you can take that NASDAQ composite and label it wave one. And then you have wave two. And you can see in the RSI on the monthly chart how it came down, it went up, and then bam, it reset everything. That's what you see. This is on the bigger assets that I've been showing you in the that are on the NASDAQ, like Amazon. Like Netflix was one. By the way, Netflix went up into a wave one. It's probably going to go into a correction. Bam, wave two. So you know what that means for Netflix? It's going into a wave three, guys. So just an FYI. Facebook, let's see. What's another one's dump? Tesla could be another one is dumping, checking it out like this. So you see this right here. Came back down and went up and bam, reset everything. You see that? And what did it start doing after that? Boom, started going up. Started going up again. So now we're over here with the NASDAQ. Okay, so this is a wave one. Wave one here, I'm going to remove that. I don't need that anymore. We know that this is a wave one. Came down in a wave two. And then see here in the RSI, you see how this is the highest peak. Here's your third wave peak. Your wave with your most momentum in the Nasdaq start. It was in 1996, and that was probably your 4, 5, something like that. And over here, this wave is a lower sequence of this wave. Okay, so what that's telling me is the Nasdaq is in its probably wave one, correcting into a wave two, and it's in a wave three of this wave. Okay, it's going to go into a wave three of this wave. So this wave here is 1, 2, and then a third wave is let me see, where's this thing over here? Somewhere way out here, somewhere over here. You know, it might be too far, but I'm just putting these. These are not going by the dates or anything. I just have them over there, guys. Okay, so now we got this wave, and you can see here's the third wave peak right here on the Nasdaq, but it's not higher than that one. So this is lower sequence than this. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, because of this RSI data down here. So what do you have right there? You see that's a third wave peak, and you can see it. I can see it clearly that there's your third wave peak. And this whole thing right here is your 4, boom, and it's up into this wave to make that wave. And so now the Nasdaq is in a second wave correction, okay? And the RSI is doing this. Now, the reason I'm going over this, guys, is because it's important to look at the Nasdaq, the other traditional markets, because Bitcoin is not 100% correlated to them, but when they go down, typically Bitcoin will go down. There can be some decorrelating events at times with both the assets, but more than likely, the deal is with these risk-on assets, the most volatile assets in the traditional markets on the Nasdaq, once they bottom, then, you know, money will flow to these deals like Amazon, your other stocks, your Googles and things like that, right? And then it'll start seeping over into Bitcoin. Okay, and then going to other coins right now. So we're looking pretty good over here on the monthly RSI. 40, it went down to 40. Okay, so you probably want to see this thing get down to like a 33 or a 36. Okay, because it's a lower sequence. So it's a lower sequence. This right here is a lower sequence than this wave. So what that means, that telling me over here, is I'm expecting this to get down a little bit more, but it doesn't need to get all the way down there to take that out. Okay. The reason why is because this is a bigger sequence wave. Okay. It doesn't need to get down that low. So now we're going to go into the correction I've been looking at on the Nasdaq. Okay. On the Nasdaq. And this is what I'm thinking is going to be going on. Now, is there a probability it could have bottomed right there? It could have, but I don't think so, guys. I think there's more of a probability the Nasdaq is going to be going down right here. And I think it's A, B, C move, three-way move up for this X wave. This is an A, this is a B, and it's coming back down for a C. Okay, so this is the move on the Nasdaq, and I'm going to say it. So you got your A, B, C, your three-way move on your X, your A, your B, and now it's going to do probably a C wave, something like that. Okay, not that far, but the targets that I have is about 87 to 92 or something like that to complete this WXY wave. Okay, WXY wave, a three-wave swing, very aggressive, double zigzag. I'll be paying attention to this area to see maybe if it could have bottomed in that area. You know, I don't think so, guys. I think it's going to come down a little bit more. It might have a swing back up a little bit more and then come back down in this area. I think it's in a correction right now. But the interesting thing that I've been looking at on the Nasdaq, I'm going to go back out to a monthly chart, guys, is the drop right here. This is a really, really good drop for the Nasdaq. And right now, the Nasdaq has dropped a total of about 37%. If it gets down there, there's 42 and as much as 45, 46% on the Nasdaq, which would be a really, really nice wave 2 crash. Get that done and over with, and the Nasdaq can get out of there. The time area, don't know, but it's much bigger than this whole crash, that crash. It's bigger than this crash. Don't count those, and it's bigger than any of these crashes. I went through all of this right here. So this crash over here is bigger than everything except this one and this one. This end of this crash right here is about 54%. But that's to be expected with these two crashes because this area right here is a much bigger sequence, okay? So you see how big that, so somewhere in the future, because this is so big, such a big crash, somewhere in the future for the Nasdaq, there's going to be a really big, another big crash again. Something of this nature is going to be over here, guys. When that will be, I don't know, but there's going to be something huge for the Nasdaq. Something huge, probably like since this is a sideways crash, there's going to be a 1929 style crash somewhere in the future for the Nasdaq that's just probably going to drop like 90%, like this thing right here, except maybe even bigger somewhere in the future for the Nasdaq. So the reason I went through these other percentage drop in the crashes is that I wanted to take a look at this. And if it does get down that deep, guys, that's really, really good, telling you this is a wave 1 and it's correcting in a wave 2 crash because it's bigger than everything else except this higher sequence correction right here, okay? Big, it's deeper than that crash. I checked all of them. Maybe not this one, but that I'm not counting that, okay? That might be the only other one that might be bigger. Let's see. Yeah, that's a little bit bigger. That went down to 50%. But other than that, this is the biggest crash the NASDAQ has had pretty much in the history of the NASDAQ since 1974, except for this higher sequence wave 2 crash that it did. Okay, so that's good. That's good. Now, if the NASDAQ's going to be busting down here to say 87 to 92, what does that mean for Bitcoin? So Bitcoin is in the same thing as the NASDAQ, probably in a time-wasting correction. And I'm expecting Bitcoin to get down to these areas right down here, okay? And the thing is that when the NASDAQ bottoms, the NASDAQ has about 12 to 15% more to go, okay? The NASDAQ, in my opinion, 12 to 15, maybe 18% more to go. You take a look at that. So the Bitcoin could be bottoming. That would be pretty right on about the same amount, even if it made a wick down 11.8 or something like that. So I think that Bitcoin is going to be in sequence more or less with the NASDAQ. Now, that doesn't mean that just because the NASDAQ is going to dump that much, that Bitcoin has to dump that much. You know, last time Bitcoin was in this area right here, if you think about it, Bitcoin was in this area. It was kind of trending sideways and up a little bit, up and to the right a little bit, while the traditionals were dumping a lot more. So that's kind of what I'm expecting. And, you know, I said there's a time frame of January, the end of January, maybe the beginning of February. You definitely want to be paying attention to that area with Bitcoin. And you definitely want to be paying attention to Bitcoin when it does, you know, if it does something like this down to those areas, okay? Especially if you see this bullish divergence, okay? So the other thing is too, is it could go into another little mini wave like it is right now, take up some more time and then do another dump, something like that, okay? You can't rule that out. Would it be nice for it to just dump and be done with it? Yes, it would, but there's a chance you could do another little sideways correction, sit in there for a real long time, burning up time. Time is a major component of corrections too. So Bitcoin's like in there. It's not really Bitcoin. It's the markets. It's the markets that are doing it. It's just boom, 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 going sideways. Burn up time could be 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and then finally one last one, and then you see it pop out of there. It's usually going to go like something like this. It'll go like this with Bitcoin. Down here, people might be paying attention. Then it goes sideways again, right? Sideways, 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 2, 3, 4 weeks. People get really, really bored. More people leave, more people leave. It does another little dump and pops out of there. It takes everybody by surprise. And that's when it'll do it. Gets rid of everybody, pretty much. Everybody just bores everybody out of the market to get out of there. So that's what I'm looking at, guys, overall market. I would decide to go through the NASDAQ too and show you guys that information just because of the assets on the NASDAQ that are doing like some massive dumps. Like I was looking at Amazon, which Amazon's coming up into a really good buying opportunity. But I was kind of charting a little bit, just to let you guys know that Amazon will be going probably into a sideways chop for a few years. Okay. I was going over looking at the what do you call the miners too. Some of the miners, I think they still got to work on their corrections, guys. Netflix is another one. You check that out. It could be coming down into another wave 2, and then it'll be going into a wave 3, guys. So out of all the tech stocks, Netflix is probably going to be your best bet at the time being, waiting for its correction over there. Tesla, it's pre-opening and still dumping. I was just looking at Tesla, and Tesla is going to be coming up into a buying opportunity, guys. I mean, at the end of the day, Tesla's not going anywhere. Don't think it's going to be going out of business. I like when people say this is the end of Tesla in the news. This must be the end of Tesla. Look, when you start hearing stuff like that, guys, that's when you start paying attention to it. That's when you start paying attention to it, and you're going to hear more of it. Now that the pre-market's giving it 103, and it's going to go down maybe below 100 possibly. Definitely, this is going to be you're going to hear that more and more and more. This is the end of Tesla. This is the end of Tesla. And that's when you start checking it out, go shopping, guys. If you made it all the way to the end, do me a huge favor, drop a like, hit the subscribe button. Peace.